All right, investing in space. This video is a follow-up. I did another video. I'll put the link below where I kicked it off, taking a look at investing in space, and I gave out two potential plays. They're both on the watch list, so we're going to follow up to that in this video. Here's that first piece right here. I'll put that link in there. You can take a look at it. But just to talk about space in general first up front and part of the overall melt-up. The way I'm looking at this is very, very intriguing to me. And one of the things I like the most about space is how open-ended it is. And the reason why is this. Look, if it's open, like if you say, we're going to do something, retail, let's say it's a restaurant. Okay, well, how many people are out there? How many can you set up in this location? You can kind of put this together and see where this is going. And what the potential is and whether or not it's worthwhile. Space, we don't know. It's so open-ended. How many satellites do we need? Do we need 10? Do we need 10 million? Do we need 10 trillion? How many stars are out there? I don't know. So the fact that it's so open-ended is very intriguing to me. I will admit that. And I think the market agrees with that. And we've seen so far this year a big move. So we'll get into that. So I wanted to put that out there. That space, I'm looking at kind of like air, land, sea, the melt up. There's this obvious surge to try to secure resources. And how are we going to go about doing that? We can look on land. I think we're going to be looking in the ocean, and I've talked about that. And then also up in the sky, not just for resources, but other business opportunities and things that are related to national security and geopolitics and many other things. So that's kind of my little quick pitch on that. How do we make money on it? How do we try to? What's the best play to make? Everybody's got to make their own decisions. I'm kind of leaning in on a couple here, and we'll go through that. So I'll put that in. First, let's get into in this report, quick. I mentioned two groups. So we've got aerospace, defense, and then telecom services, cable, satellite. So the IBD industry groups that are going to hit space the most, in my opinion, are these two. Of course, there's going to be some other players, and we want to find those. If space starts booming, we want to find out who's feeding it, who has to feed components, supplies, services, tools into this. I think we may have one play there, OPTX. You could take a look at that one. That's very speculative and small, but it's got some good things going for it for sure. We'll do a different video on that, and I've written on that a little bit here and there. So these are the two main groups. So first, let's take a look at the group of the play we're going to look at today. Here's the group rankings from January 13th, 2026. And if we look here, telecom, cable, satellite equipment, 6 weeks ago was ranked 12th. 3 months ago it was ranked probably, 100th. I'm just guessing. And now it's currently ranked 7th. All right. For the year, it's already up almost 12%. Yesterday, it was down a little bit. Very, very important. The group itself has been rising. Industry groups that are rising, stocks are showing the best relative strength, high preference for very high accumulation distribution ratings and up-down volume well above 1.0. So let's do a little stock checkup here. And first one we're going to look at here is Planet Labs. I'm looking at this thing here. We've got stocks we've got private sector companies, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 billion, raising money left and right because of, it's an AI widget or something or other. And here, do we have the future Google of space staring us right in our face right now, telling us that? And if so, what should we do about it? So the IBD stock checkup. Here is a case when I did a video recently about rare earths where there's no cash flow. There is actual cash flow here. And if you take a look at their earnings reports and dive into them, especially the most recent one, it's borderline spectacular. This company is in excellent shape and performing very, very, very well as a business. I didn't talk about the stock just yet. Composite rating of 90, obviously that's very high. Accumulation distribution rating, you can see it's the number one ranked stock in the entire group for accumulation distribution. The group, this data actually needs to be updated. I just showed you where the group is ranking currently. For some reason, it didn't pull through yet on this one. If we look at the fundamental performance for Planet Labs, last 3 quarters averaging almost 80% EPS growth, sales growth, and the last quarter up 33%, no debt. The company's humming along. It's in good shape. And we get down to the technical performance. Here's where it gets very, very interesting. Relative strength 99. So stock's been doing very, very well. It's at trading above 25 currently. When I first started taking a look at it, it was around 16, 17. I have entered into a position around the 10 daily EMA, roughly around 19. I'm interested in adding more. I don't want to do anything rash or impulsive, but it has been performing very, very well. 99 relative strength. Accumulation distribution rating of A, very solid, and up-down volume 1.6. That's very high. You're going to see it on the chart too. 1.6 up-down volume. This thing is being bought. People are fighting over it. They want it. They want to buy it. They want to own it. I'm not saying it's going straight up. I repeat, I'm not saying it's going straight up. I'm not saying it's going straight up tomorrow, next week, next month. I'm looking at the data right here, right now. That's all I'm doing. Up-down volume of 1.6 is very strong, period. 7 straight quarters where more and more funds are moving in, bigger institutional investors are moving into the stock. That's a fact. All right, let's look at the chart on TradingView. We go over here on a weekly chart, and I mean, look, the bottom line is money flow is red on the weekly. That's interesting. That might be, if you're looking to enter, that may play a role in whether or not you get a good entry price in the near future. Money flow technically is red on the weekly, and it's kind of flat these last few weeks. But if we go back to just last summer, I mean, this thing started really taking off. You can see it respect the 10-week here, and you can see some big surges in volume. And the bottom line, the chart looks beautiful. There's no way around it. So that's that. I think the market is, without a doubt, this is an early sign potentially of the market really, really jumping on this one. But it's what, $8 billion. I know we act like it's nothing these days because everything's been inflated so much. But relative to other crown jewels, if you will, OpenAI, a lot of these private companies, Palantir, NVIDIA, I don't know. I'm kind of looking at this and asking myself, do I want to bet on Palantir at, 550 billion, or do I want to bet on something at 7 billion that, in my opinion, is potentially a lot more open-ended? When I look at Planet Labs, to me, it feels, the sense I'm getting is that it has a lot more open-ended potential than some other plays I'm looking at. So I need to keep that into account. I think the relative strength in the up-down volume is telling you exactly that as well, in my opinion. Again, is this the time to go crazy and go all in and just because, well, it looks so good and this and that? In my opinion, no. The market ebbs and flows. We see right here. We saw a huge surge, 4 straight weeks, boom, 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 boom. And then we saw, 7 straight down weeks. Now, it didn't drop tremendously, but the bottom line is it gave you 7 weeks. Now, the market was and the melt-up was evolving. I went to risk off in late October. We were kind of going through that transition. So that's not necessarily going to happen all the time or be given to you tomorrow. But stocks ebb and flow. They don't go straight up. Neither does silver and gold. It looks like that right now. They will retract as well and correct higher, actually. So I would keep that in mind. But at the same time, I'm not personally too excited about letting this run away too much, especially when you look at the financials. This company this company has predictable and long-term revenue. They're also lined up with Google to launch a completely new thing. And it's performing very, very well. So I need to take that into account, but also not do something stupid or rash, and be patient and wait for good opportunities. But that said, from a standpoint of space, I think OPTX probably has more explosive upside if things go well for them, but they need to raise cash for sure. So I would look for an offering at any point. This one, I think, is humming along. I really do. I think this thing is humming along nicely. The way the business model is set up, there's a lot of things going for it, and it's definitely reflected. Relative strength 99, up-down volume 1.6. It's all reflected there. So, it is what it is. I'm going to see what I can do to build a bigger position here. I like space. I don't have a pie in the sky, no pun intended, approach to this. I think this is real. There is a real opportunity here. I don't think it's going to be a straight line up. I think there will be a lot of volatility over time, but I am interested more in Plant. I'm already long, and I've got a decent entry, I suppose. I think that over the long run, that should be okay. But I am looking and trying to strategize on how to maybe get a bigger position here and how to go about doing that. Planet Labs, space.